back, guys, to Beanie Talks. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful Sunday morning. I'm super excited to be getting into this today, and I'm glad that you guys are here. Hopefully, your weekend's been going well. You guys are getting some relaxation, some good family time. I think it's supposed to be nice weather this weekend. Kind of getting a little bit colder. So those of you guys who like that fall kind of winter weather, I'm with you. I'm super excited about it, and I'm ready for it. But today we are going to be continuing our series of It's Personal. Elsie started us off last week, and today we're going to be continuing that, and we're going to be continuing the story of Zacchaeus and that whole deal. The tax collector. Jesus came by, and he already knew his name, and we're going to be continuing that story today. But before we continue, I kind of wanted to. I don't actually have a personal story per se today. I couldn't think of a specific example. But I think everyone's done it. Everyone's experienced it. And it's that we tend to assume things about people. And we like to say that we know a lot of people. But in reality, there's actually a lot of those people we consider that we know. We don't really know them at all. We know their name, which is important. That's a good step. And we know what school they go to and maybe one of their classes because we share it. But we don't actually know the person. We don't know what their family situation is like. We don't actually know where they live. We don't know all of their interests or their hobbies or what they do outside of the classroom that we share. Sure, maybe you have lunch with them, but I mean outside of school as well. And with those people, they have backstories, just like you and me. But a lot of the people we meet, they have backstories we'll never know about. And that's okay. That's just how life is. You get closer to some people than you do others. But it's in those times where we get frustrated with those people. And maybe they get frustrated with us and they lash out. I assume you've had bad days, and maybe you accidentally lash out on a friend and you say things like, man, it's been a really bad morning, or man, if only they knew what I was going through right now. But whenever it happens to us, we tend to forget about that grace that we wish for when we do the same thing. So today we're going to be learning about how Jesus understands our story, and also learning about how can we empathize with other people's stories and sympathize with them in those times where maybe things that we don't know are happening in their life. So as we know, Jesus was amazing. He knew people's names that he'd never met before, and he really wanted to understand pretty much everyone that he ever met. That was who Jesus was. He cared about everyone he met. He cared about the people who had done great things, and he cared about the sinners, and he cared about the people that no one knew. Just a little recap for you guys when Elsie was talking about kind of Zacchaeus and everything last week. We're going to go ahead and start off in Luke chapter 9 verses 5 through 6. And so when Jesus came by and he looked up at Zacchaeus, he called him by name. He said, "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today." Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. See, Jesus, he's a smart dude. A lot of the people just kind of writ this guy off, Zacchaeus, because he was a tax collector, and tax collectors were known for taking more money than they were supposed to, and kind of keeping it from themselves. So he kind of had a bad rep with the town, and no one really cared to get to know him because they didn't like him. But Jesus, he knew that there was more going on than what met the eyes. And so Jesus wanted to be a guest in Zacchaeus' house because he wanted to get to know him. But the people in the town, they weren't too pleased about this. It says in Luke chapter 19 verse 7, "But the people were displeased. He is gone to the guests of a notorious sinner," they grumbled. Where we live is more than just our physical address. Understanding our circumstances and situations is really the window into what we're really like. Jesus showed that he wanted to get personal with Zacchaeus, and not just knowing him, but he wanted to know where he lived, and he wanted to enter the space where Zacchaeus was most comfortable, where Zacchaeus was most himself. So he he invited himself into Zacchaeus' home to really understand exactly who this guy is. So when it comes to understanding our own stories and even other people's stories, we can look at what Jesus did, and he invited himself into their lives. And obviously we need boundaries, of course, all people do, but we can take that extra step to want to understand ourselves. We can really kind of take a closer look at, what's happened throughout our day and why am I going through this. But we can also ask questions to those other people, and we can invite them to invite us into their home, if that makes sense. We can take that extra step and really show the initiative that we want to know these people and understand these people and know their backstory and know where they came from. And if you guys ever question about if you have a personal connection with Jesus or that, I'll tell you right now, it is personal because Jesus understands your story. He knows everything about you, everything you've ever done, and everything you ever will. And he knows all of it, and he is right there with you through all of it. Sometimes it may feel like he's not there, but that's sometimes a good thing. Maybe that means we're just doing fine right now, and Jesus is like, you know what? You go live your life. You're doing great. I am proud of you, so I'm gonna take a step back. But that also doesn't mean that everything's great. Sometimes it can be a challenge he's set forth, and he's wanting to make sure that you want that connection, you want that personal relationship with him, and you want to continue to grow with him. It can be really hard to let people into our lives. There's some things that you want to keep secret, there's some people you just don't really want into your lives, but you'd be surprised at how many people will start sharing their story with you if you do the same. Our lives can change drastically when we let people know us and know our story and understand who we are. And it can change even more so when we learn to understand other people and meet them at their house, like Jesus did with Zacchaeus. So just as Jesus wanted to be invited into Zacchaeus' home to really understand who this is, it is the exact same way with you guys. Jesus wants to be invited into where you live, your home, your story. And he wants to know every little detail about you. And so as we're closing up this week, I hope that we will be seeing you Wednesday, because it is going to be our Halloween party. We are super excited. It is going to be outdoors. That's the hope, as long as it doesn't rain. So make sure to bring a jacket if maybe you're wearing your costume and it's not the warmest, or just wear a warmer costume. And also we do ask that even if you guys are wearing a mask for your costume, we will be asking that you still continue to bring your COVID mask, your covering mask. But we're super excited for that. We are gonna have food, we're gonna have costume contests and a bunch of fun activities for you guys as we get to celebrate this holiday. And also I just want to continue to invite you guys to join us here on Sundays for Beanie Talks. We love doing this, we love having these messages for you on Sunday, and we're super excited for what's more to come. But that's it. That's what I have for you guys today. Remember that your relationship with Jesus is personal, and he wants to understand you, and he already does understand you. So I hope to see you guys on Wednesday, and if not, obviously there's always the Zoom calls with Heather, that you guys can do that online as well. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you next time. See you guys. And so today we're talking about the... Oh, I forgot. And learn to sympathize. Dang it. Sympathize. Ooh, scripture time. Is it Zacchaeus? How do you pronounce it?